All right, today we're going to talk about a name you've probably heard, Robert Kiyosaki. You know, the guy who wrote the massive bestseller Rich Dad, Poor Dad? His ideas have, well, they've completely shaken up how millions of people think about money. So in this explainer, we're going to break down his core strategy for escaping what he famously calls the rat race.
Okay, so let me ask you something. Do you ever feel like you're just stuck? Like you're on a financial hamster wheel, right? You're working harder, maybe even earning more, but you just never seem to get ahead? Well, that feeling is exactly what Kiyosaki's all about. He basically says, hey, a lot of us are playing by a set of money rules that are just broken. They're totally outdated.
And he's got a name for it, the rat race. You know exactly what this is. It's that cycle of living paycheck to paycheck. The money comes in, and whoosh, it goes right back out to pay for the mortgage, the car, the bills. And then you're just waiting for the next paycheck to do it all over again. He says it's a trap, and it's what stops most people from ever building real, lasting wealth. So, how do we get out? Let's dive in.
Okay, so the very first step, according to him, is to really question the advice we've all been given our whole lives. You know, the stuff our parents and grandparents told us. He says that what worked for them, well, it just doesn't cut it anymore in the world we live in today.
I mean, how many times have you heard this? Go to a good school, get a safe job, save your money, get out of debt, diversify. Sound familiar? Yeah. Well, Kiyosaki's take is pretty blunt. He calls it obsolete advice. He's famous for saying things like savers are losers. And what does he mean by that? Well, he argues that with inflation eating away at your cash, the money you're so carefully stashing in the bank is actually losing value every single day. So that old traditional path, he says it's no longer a guarantee of financial security. Not even close.
And here's a perfect example of his, let's call it controversial thinking. He says to challenge the idea that your house is an asset. Now, wait a minute. For most people, their home is their biggest asset, right? But he says nope. And by challenging that one core belief, it really forces you to ask a super important question. What even is an asset?
And that question, that's the key that unlocks his entire philosophy. He says if you want to escape the rat race, you have to start with one thing, understanding the massive difference between an asset and a liability. And it's actually super simple. It all boils down to which way the money is flowing.
So yeah, it's really this simple. Asset versus liability. This isn't about needing some complicated financial degree or giant spreadsheets. It's just about knowing, is money coming in or is it going out? Seriously, getting this one idea can totally change how you look at your entire financial life.
Okay, so let's break it down. His definition of an asset is simple. An asset puts money in your pocket. And here's the important part. It does this whether you're actively working or not. It's all about positive cash flow. So think about things like a rental property that brings in rent every month, or stocks that pay you dividends, or even something like a book that earns you royalties. That's money working for you, not the other way around.
And a liability? You guessed it, it's the exact opposite. A liability takes money out of your pocket month after month. Now you see why he calls your personal home a liability. You've got the mortgage payment, property taxes, insurance, repairs. It's a constant drain. The core idea here is that wealthy people focus all their effort on buying those income-producing assets, while most other people just accumulate liabilities.
All right, so if the goal is to buy assets, how do you actually do that? Where do you even start? Well, Kiyosaki came up with this really useful tool to help you figure that out. He calls it the cash flow quadrant, and you can think of it like a map for your financial journey.
So, this quadrant basically shows the four main ways people make money. On the left side, you've got E for employee. That's when you have a job. Below that is S for self-employed or specialist. That's when you own your job. Now, on the right side, you have B for business owner, where you own a system and people work for you. And I for investor, where your money works for you. Where you get your income from on this grid, well, that pretty much defines your financial reality.
And the whole point of this quadrant, the big goal, is to move from the left side to the right side. See, people on the left side are trading their time for money. If they don't work, they don't get paid. Simple as that. But the people on the right side, they own systems and investments that generate income 24/7, even while they're sleeping. And that, according to the Rich Dad philosophy, is what real financial freedom looks like.
So the million-dollar question is, how do you make that leap? How do you get from the left side to the right? Well, it's not just about quitting your job and starting a business. It's way deeper than that. It's about changing your entire mindset. And the foundation for that change is financial education. Kiyosaki believes the most powerful tool you have for building wealth is actually something really simple: the words you know.
Yeah, he literally says that if you improve your financial vocabulary, you'll get richer. It's a direct connection. See, understanding what words like cash flow, capital gains, or depreciation really mean isn't just for accountants. It's a practical, real-world tool for building wealth. And the best part? As he loves to say, words are free.
And honestly, this might be the most important takeaway of all. If you want to change your financial situation, you've got to start by changing your financial vocabulary. Think of it this way: words are literally fuel for your brain. The more of these words you truly understand, the more financial opportunities you'll start to see all around you. It's like they were invisible before. So, to wrap this up, let me leave you with a little challenge, straight from his philosophy. Don't feel like you have to go learn everything overnight. Just start with one. So my question to you is, what is one financial word you're going to learn this week? Not just read the definition, but really understand it. Because that one little step, well, that could be the start of a completely different financial path for you.